Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone's having a glorious day. Hopefully Secretary of Transportation is having a terrible day for how he's handling the situation in East Palestine. This all could have been avoided if he were to address the issue and not wait 2 weeks making a comment on it. But it is what it is. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to be stuck with politicians that don't really want to do anything. We have people there in Biden administration that just wants to ignore everything and anything that goes wrong. They want to blame anyone but themselves. Now, if there's anything that good happens, they want to have all the praise. But unfortunately, when you're in the position of power that these people are in, part of the job is that you take the blame with the praise. You don't get to pick and choose. Um, Now, I'm pretty sure that my title is going to be misleading because there are some people on Twitter that were asking Buttigieg questions and he wouldn't answer them. His press secretary wouldn't answer questions unless they were off the camera. But you're the press secretary for the Secretary of Transportation. It's kind of your job to answer those questions, regardless if they're on camera or not. Let's hear. Pete Buttigieg has taken a lot of bullets for the president on this, as one senior Democrat said, but the Politico. That's right. This month, toxic derailment in a small Ohio village has put Pete Buttigieg under pressure like never before, leaving him scrambling to contain a public health and transportation crisis, only particularly under his purview while absorbing the brunt of attacks from the Biden administration's adversaries. I can't say that word for some strange. Can't speak today for some strange reason. Adversaries. Here we go. Adversaries. You know, if it was just a derailment, it would be one thing. If it wasn't just the computer glitch, the baby formula shortages, food shortages, supply chain issues, when you start adding them all together while under his watch, it starts to paint a picture that maybe this isn't the right person for the job. I mean, there's a lot of things going on that's just been falling and failing under this administration, but none of the Democrats want to look inwards and ask the important question is, are we to be blamed here? Should we accept some of the blame? And the answer is yes to both of those questions. Publicly and privately, signs are growing that the transportation sector, usually Eagle Scout patience, is giving way to frustration. Well, I know that usually what happens when you're over your head. You have a position that you're not qualified for. He has gotten into Twitter spats with U.S. senators and his Kurt Breshoff of the Daily Caller, reporter who ambushed him during the walk, turned into a viral video that has drawn more than 3 million views since Tuesday night and Wednesday. Now, if that's the video I'm thinking of, shame on that person. Shame on that reporter. It was at night. He was walking with his husband, trying to take some private time. Now, this is where I probably differ than most people. He may be a public figure, but just because you're a public figure doesn't mean that you have to be beholden to the public 24/7. He is allowed to take some private time. I'm just saying, he's allowed to take private time, although it seems like he's been taking a lot of private time. How do you take a position and take 6 months off right out the gate? I mean, it doesn't really bode well for you, but, if you want to have an intimate walk with your husband or wife or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You should be allowed to do so. And when you tell a reporter that he's having a private moment with his husband or wife, it doesn't even matter. That video should have ended and it should never have been uploaded to onto the internet. Because That is his private time. So that's where I'm going to be somewhat in his court. But he's been failing left and right. And like I said, you got the food shortages, the baby formula shortages, you got the medicine shortages, you got just some basic supply chain issues. And then this happens with the airport computer glitch that grounded every airline. He may not be the right person for the job. Still, Buttigieg acknowledged in CBS News interview Tuesday that he could have spoken sooner about how strongly I felt about this incident, and that lesson learned for me. I mean, that's like an understatement. For Buttigieg, the former Indiana mayor and one of Biden's administration's most avid political communicators, what began as a rail and ecological calamity has mushroomed just in 20 days into the most serious test yet as a leader for the sprawling Department of Transportation. 3 people in Buttigieg orbit admit being exasperated by the viewer, saying that nobody asked him about the derailment in any of the 23 media interviews that he conducted during the first 10 days after the incident. That's another issue. The media was awfully silent about this. Then critics lambasted him for not speaking sooner. You're the Department of Secretary. You're the Secretary, not the Department of Secretary. You're the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. You shouldn't need the media to tell you that there was a major train wreck in Palestine, Ohio. That's part of your job, is to know these things. You shouldn't be not beholden. You shouldn't get your information from the media. You should get your information from the people within government telling you that there's an issue. Since then, conservative media outlets have used images of the February 6th wreck, including the plumes of black smoke and pile of dead fish. The lambast his oversight of rail safety. They're very critical of his failure to visit the crash site. He didn't have to visit the crash site. I know he only visited the crash site because Trump said he was going to visit, and Trump visit. A chorus of "Where's Pete?" that didn't let up for after he announced he would visit East Palestine on Thursday. The effort by Fox News and Republicans to use the pain of East Palestine community as political weapon is both enraging and demeaning, said senior Democrat said. You know what? Democrats don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to this. I mean, like Trump, love Trump, hate Trump, don't care about Trump. The media and other politicians went for the jugular, everything Trump said. So this is just a little bit of fair play. The White House said Wednesday night that it's standing behind Buttigieg, rejecting calls for some GOP lawmakers for him to resign or to be fired. It has also echoed Buttigieg's criticism from past actions that rolled back Obama administration rail safety regulations. Those are bad faith attacks from Republicans who have been lockstep with the rail lobby to unrivaled safety protections. White House Deputy Secretary Andrew Bates says 2 years you didn't roll in or roll forward those regulations, but you kept Trump's rollbacks in place. And not only that, the Democrats voted to kill the railroad strike. I'm pretty sure that was one of their concerns, that they're overworked, safety issues are coming up, and they're not being addressed. So they went on strike, and the Democrats and Biden killed their labor strike. Ohio derailments comes after a series of other transportation-related snarls that happened on Buttigieg watch, including threatening nationwide rail strike, airline scheduling meltdowns, and Federal Aviation Administration computer failure. Good on political for making those known. They have grounded flights nationwide. They have brought him to unsparing criticisms with GOP lawmakers and conservatives, media outlets, which have portrayed him as overwhelmed by or detached from the job, mocked his interests such as racial justice and climate change. You know, I don't care if there's too many white people in construction. Someone's got to build buildings. People got to build factories. People got to build homes. Doesn't matter what their skin tone is. And I'm not touching climate change. I got opinions, but they're not for YouTube safe. Fox News primetime coverage of the derailment on Tuesday included Photoshop images portraying him in a suit, wearing a bicyclist, grinning in front of the wreckage. Former President Trump weighed in during the visit of East Palestine on Wednesday, telling reporters Buttigieg should have been here already. Is he wrong? Is Trump wrong here? Maybe he should have addressed the issue sooner. That criticism could just as easily be aimed at other Biden's appointees. I mean, the buck stops at Biden, doesn't it? The senior Democrat who discussed the attacks on Buttigieg says those could even include the Environmental Protection Agency chief Michael Reagan, who first visited the disaster site last week, the first trip there by any president of Joe Biden's cabinet-level leaders. Well, I'm glad they're taking this seriously. Reagan's agency overseeing the cleanup of the toxic chemicals in East Palestine returned to the village Tuesday. There he sipped the water with Republican Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Rep. Bill Johnson to reassure the residents that it's safe to drink. On Wednesday night, he appeared during a CNN town hall about the disaster. I wonder if that water really came from the pipes. Let's see, this is really long. Really should read these articles before I start reading them. But you can't get it. I mean, of course, you heard Fox News mocking them. Part of the Village people. Buttigieg mocked for appearing to wear dress boots while on. Really? We're that's what we're going to go with. This here, Secretary of Transportation appeared to wear dress boots while surveying the train derailment on the ground in East Palestine, Ohio. On Thursday, nearly 3 weeks after East Palestine derailment spilled toxic chemicals in the environment, the Secretary appeared to be wearing leather dress boots instead of heavy-duty shoes like work boots while surveying the city. Department of Transportation spokesperson told Fox News Digital that the shoes were boots but had no record of the brand. The secretary was wearing boots. We don't have a record of what brand they are. We would like to point to you instead of the three-pronged plan it put out in recent to increase rail safety and accountability, which is probably more interested of the residents of East Palestine than any community with the rail line running through it right now. Secretary choice of footwear, which is an entirely irrelevant topic, which I agree with. I mean, I doesn't really not shocked by all the Mayor Perry wearing dress shoes. I mean, is it? I mean, they kind of look like brand new boots. I mean, they also look like dress shoes. I mean, while I'm here, let's see here. Sab says, really? Oh, there we go. 2 years ago, blah, 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 blah. Beat Project tells aggressive reporter to turn off a camera at derail site. This headline is amazing. We are flying. Let's see here. Where? Hopefully this works. Hopefully there's not too much.
What do you say to residents who say you're too little too late?
I say that we're with residents right now.
Mr. Secretary.
We're going to be here before as we were in the first hours.
Why did it take you 3 weeks then,
Can I
Buttigieg?
finish my answer to the first?
Well, we're saying it's too little too late because it took you 3 weeks to get here, and then you used the excuse that it was, there's 1,000 train derailments in the USA every single year. Is that okay to you as the Department
I can't tell what the
Transportation
question is, but
Secretary?
I'm on my way to answer a lot of
The question is, do you think that you've done a good
job?
job as the, Secretary of the Department of Transportation?
Yes, I'm proud of what FRA and PHMSA have done here from day one, from the first minutes, or at least the first hours of this response. What I'm really proud of is the community that I saw here. You've got federal agencies, you've got local first responders, you've got states, but most of all, you got a community that's been through a lot that I think is pretty frustrated with people trying to take political advantage of this situation. And my focus is going to be to make sure that our freight rail system gets safer. And anybody who wants to take political advantage of this, I'm calling them to the table to find out whether they are for or against. Well, I would start by referring you to the whole plan that we put out the other day, and I'll be speaking more about this with
very quickly?
You can find them all online. Yeah, sure. Work with Congress to raise the fines, the caps on fines. Our own work on things like focused inspections and the two-person crew rule, and another thing that railroad companies don't have to wait on us to require them to do, which is getting better information to local communities.
Mr. Secretary, would you still be here if President Trump wasn't here yesterday?
Yeah, the timing of my visit is based on trying to be here with the community, but also trying to not be in the way of NTSB. Maybe I got that timing right, maybe not. But the most important thing for me right now is that doesn't wind up allowing people to change the subject and block needed rail regulation.
And
I'm on my way to the media availability.
Do you think it was a mistake for Biden to go to Ukraine?
Can you ask Biden why he was able to go to Ukraine before visiting the people of East Palestine, please?
I mean, it's an important question.
Joe Biden that?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's this one right here.
Mayor Pete, why did it take you an entire 2.5 weeks to actually get here to respond to East Palestine? Will you apologize to the residents of this city for the slow response, to the government's slow response? Do you have any apology?
I'm a press person. I can help you.
Sure. So can we ask why it took him almost 3 weeks to get here?
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this on camera.
What was his personal time off while there was a tragedy happening here?
And can we also ask too why he waited until President Donald Trump came here to actually make an appearance? This is a very important question that people across America would like to know.
I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I do not want to be on camera.
Too bad.
Please put your cameras away.
I'm sorry, we're on a public area, so we are allowed as press.
You guys, I would like you guys to turn your cameras off.
You're not on my camera.
Well, I'm on a camera. I would like your cameras to be off, and then I'm happy to talk to you guys.
Well, if you're the press secretary of the Department of Transportation, don't you think you should be able to ask questions from the American public that you serve?
Absolutely. I would like to do it without the camera on.
Can I ask
Too
why?
bad.
I think that is a little bit aggressive. That's why. And
Why is it aggressive? I'm on behalf of the American people, I'm just asking why he has not been here until Donald Trump
She's
came.
asked them several times for them to turn the cameras off, and they will not do it.
She's been able to walk away. Would you like to go inside?
I do not. I will walk this way.
Can I ask what the secretary is going to do with the picture of Jenny Kerr? He took her the other day when she was asking a question in Washington, D.C.
I'm happy to answer your questions. I would like you guys to not have your cameras on.
Why? Why no camera?
You all have your cameras on. I can see them. You guys, I'm happy to have this conversation.
No,
All
you're
right,
not.
so we are with the press secretary
this
for Pete
is
Buttigieg,
not
and right
appropriate.
now we are being told
I have my
that
camera in
we
my
are not
pocket. Can you
supposed
ask
to
my
be
question?
filming. Again, we are here on behalf of the American public because we would like to have the conversation, and we would like to ask the question as to why, again, it took almost 3 weeks for Pete Buttigieg to be here on the ground. He waited until Donald Trump came here to actually be here and speak to residents. The people here have been quite tight-knit about when we can ask questions. And again, we're here on behalf of the American public, and we wish we could be able to ask these questions, but for some reason, we're not allowed.
There you go. That was the press secretary of the Department of Transportation not willing to answer questions on camera. My question is, why does she not want to be on camera? Is she going to say a load of lies? And good for Savannah Hernandez to actually push Pete Buttigieg to at least give 3 bullet points. I've noticed that his answer is, go to this website to tell you more about it. You're here on the site. We're here to ask for your opinion, not to be pointed to some other direction. You don't get to skirt. You don't get to go to Ukraine and skirt away your responsibility. I'm sorry. I mean, this is just one disaster after another disaster. Well, this one is a major disaster. The other ones were just shortcomings. Baby food shortages or formula is also another disaster. How many more disasters are we going to let this Department of Transportation have? I mean, yes, he was right with his answers that regulations need to come from the Congress. He is right that railroad companies need to take more initiative to fix issues. He's right. He's saying all the right things. But the fact that he did not respond in a timely manner, and when I say respond, I'm not talking about getting resources to the people, because it looks like resources got to the people through other agencies. He didn't address the issue. He did not make it known to the public the public, that he was aware of the issue. That is my big gripe about this administration, is that they think they could just let issues go under the rug. And we're not in that type of era anymore. We're not in an era before cell phone cameras and high quality cell phone cameras and high quality mobile cameras. I mean, the cameras are getting smaller and better. And we live in an area where we could have people go locally on pennies on the dollar and break these stories. So my big gripe is that he did not let the American people know that he was aware of it sooner. I don't know if I'm being a little harsh on him or not harsh enough, but that's my opinion. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are. Should Pete Buttigieg be fired or resign? Let me know down below. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.